I just came out of the theater for Fantastic Four First Steps, and here's my full review of the film. First, before this review starts, I'd like to say that I was very impressed by this movie, and honestly, this is just a huge win for Marvel overall. Anyway, let's get into the film review. For starters, the movie's retro-futuristic style really fits the Fantastic Four, and it was just a very unique and good style that is not used much in movies and shows. Another part of this movie that was great was how high stakes everything felt. I never found myself thinking that the characters had too much plot armor for something bad to happen to them, especially when Galactus was actually coming after the kid, Franklin Richards. It just felt very risky and that the kid was genuinely not safe, which elevated the movie over a lot of other films nowadays. This movie was also very fast-paced, which can be interpreted in a bad way and a good way. For one, it can restrict character development and make the story confusing at times. Or it could genuinely just make the movie less boring and more enjoyable to watch with a lot happening. With this movie, you really didn't have much of the bad part, and the characters felt like they were still developed well, even though this movie has a very fast-paced style. Speaking of characters, this movie really had good and understandable characters, and Marvel did a really good job at bringing the Fantastic Four back to life. The casting of this movie was also really good, and I felt that the actors always did their characters really well. Also, as expected, the visuals of this movie were absolutely amazing, while still not as good as Superman. The CGI was actually relatively good in this film, except for just a few scenes. I specifically loved the shots when the four first met Galactus and they had to fly away in their spacecraft. Now, speaking of Galactus, he was a menace in this movie, and Marvel did really good at making him seem like a true and dangerous threat. In one scene, Galactus literally starts stretching Mr. Fantastic as far as possible, which just shows how much of a menace this guy really was. I really hope Marvel continues to make villains that pose an actual threat instead of small and powerless villains like some films have gone to recently. Now it's the time you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about the post-credit scene. For those who don't know, after the end credits, a scene played where Sue goes to get a different book for Franklin, but when she comes back, he is seen with Dr. Doom. This is an insane moment, and it kickstarts the hype for Secret Wars and Doomsday in 2027 and 28. I think it's going to be so cool to see Doom finally getting some spotlight in the MCU, considering how cool of a character he really is. Concluding this review, I want to reiterate how much this film really impressed me. From the characters to the art style to the pacing, this movie is close to flawless, and I might consider this to be my favorite movie of 2025 so far, possibly even over Superman. Anyway, I definitely recommend this movie, and I think that this could be one of the best superhero movies in years. It feels like with this movie and alongside Superman, we might be coming back to what superhero movies truly are, which is absolutely incredible to see. My final ranking is 9 out of 10.